Have you ever picked up a book and from the very first page you just knew you weren't going to be able to put it down? Well, today we're going to dig into one of the best opening chapters ever written to see exactly what makes it tick. Right? This is the wild idea that kicks off The Lightning Thief. The author, Rick Riordan, doesn't waste any time. He just drops you right into this world where everything you think is normal is about to get turned upside down. And, a little terrifying. So who's our guide through all this craziness? Meet Percy Jackson. He's 12 years old, and the choice to have him tell the story himself, it's absolutely crucial. See, by using the first-person point of view, we're basically stuck inside Percy's head. We don't know anything he doesn't know. So when he's completely baffled that his teacher is turning into a monster, we're right there with him, just as confused. It makes everything feel super personal and builds this instant connection with him. And let's talk about his voice for a second. Percy isn't some formal narrator telling us stuffy old story. Nope. He's sarcastic, he's funny, he's super casual. This creates this awesome, humorous tone that is so important because it stops the story from getting too dark, even when he's, literally fighting for his life. Riordan also makes Percy incredibly relatable by giving him real-world problems. He's at a boarding school for so-called troubled kids, he's got dyslexia and ADHD, and he just constantly feels like he doesn't fit in. I mean, he's been kicked out of 6 schools in 6 years. He's the kind of character so many of us can see a piece of ourselves in. But here's the really brilliant part. The story starts to flip these challenges on their head. What if the very things that make Percy different, the things that always get him in trouble, what if they aren't weaknesses at all? What if they're actually signs of something powerful? This becomes a huge theme for the whole series, and it's planted right here in Chapter 1. Okay, so the stage is set. And the action kicks off with something totally normal, a school field trip. But as you're about to see, this is not just any old field trip. Every single detail is a clue. The class is heading off to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. You know the drill, right? A classic, maybe kind of boring school outing. It's the perfect setting for something completely nuts to happen. And what are they there to see? It's not dinosaurs, it's not modern paintings, it's specifically Greek and Roman artifacts. So they are literally surrounded by statues of gods, heroes, and scenes from ancient myths. And yeah, you guessed it, this is 100% not a coincidence. The author is basically waving a giant flag, telling us that this whole ancient world is about to become very, very real. This is a classic move we call foreshadowing. By setting this first big scene in a mythology exhibit, the author is dropping a massive hint that these myths, they aren't just stories in a textbook for Percy. Nope, they're connected to his life, right now. And then we get our first real taste of Percy's hidden power. A bully named Nancy Bobafit is messing with his friend Grover. Percy gets mad, and all of a sudden, the water from a nearby fountain just sort of reaches out and yanks her in. Percy has no clue how he did it. It's the first sign that the world itself seems to be responding to his emotions. But that weird fountain thing, that was just the warm-up act. Now we get to the moment where Percy's entire reality just cracks wide open. His pre-algebra teacher, Mrs. Dodds, gets him alone in an empty room in the museum, and right there, she changes. She's not a person anymore. She's this hideous creature with leathery wings and glowing eyes, and she's screaming at him to return something he supposedly stole. And that transformation is what we call the inciting incident. It's the story's point of no return. A minute ago, Percy was a kid with normal school problems. Now, he's a kid being hunted by actual monsters. The real story has officially begun. So, you've got a monster standing in front of you. What do? Well, Percy gets a little help from a very, very unexpected source. The whole thing happens in a blur. First, his Latin teacher, Mr. Brunner, shows up and just tosses him a ballpoint pen. But when Percy uncaps it, it's not a pen, it's a full-on bronze sword. Acting purely on instinct, he swings at the monster, and poof, she just explodes into yellow dust and is gone. Okay, so a monster teacher just got vaporized, and a pen is really a sword. Percy's head must be spinning, right? But believe it or not, the chapter's biggest twist is still on its way. This is where it gets really weird. Percy walks out of that room, and suddenly, nobody remembers a teacher named Mrs. Dodds. Not his best friend Grover, not his teacher, Mr. Brunner. They all act like she never existed and look at him like he's going crazy. And this moment sets up a massive theme for the entire series. You can't always trust what you see, and you definitely can't always trust what adults are telling you. Percy is forced to rely on his own gut, even when what he experienced seems totally impossible. So, when you pull all these pieces together, what do you get? You get a pretty much perfect opening chapter. Let's do a quick recap of why it all works so well. It's like a perfect recipe, right? The first-person view puts us right in his shoes. The funny, sarcastic tone keeps us entertained, even when things get dangerous. The characterization makes us instantly root for this underdog. The foreshadowing hints at this epic destiny. And that inciting incident, it just launches him and us straight into the main conflict. I mean, think about that journey just in one chapter. It starts with a relatable kid who thinks he's a failure, just trying to survive another day at another school that doesn't get him. And it ends with that same kid discovering he can wield a magic sword and is being hunted by a mythological monster that everyone else swears was never even there. After an ending like that, tell me, how could you possibly not turn the page? That, right there, is how you write a perfect hook.